Alrighty, so this is nice and dry. I've given it a smooth down with some, I think it's 340 grit paper, just a between coats type of paper. And hallelujah, the template came for the hob and sink. So we're going to cut a hole in here. But what we need to do first of all is accurate placement. So I'm going to take this back into the van. I'm going to get the hob out, put it exactly where it needs to sit, and then I can stick this template to here, cut round it, and we'll get the hob in. Won't be a finished thing because this could do with another coat. Maybe give it another 2 coats of lacquer just to seal it up and make it nice. But first, let's get it in the van and see how the hob fits. Alright, so there's my hob and sink. And if you recall, we had a crucial placement of this where the waste just skirts the side of the fridge. Now, how do we mark that out? You see, we know the side of the fridge is here, so if we bring this along just to one side of it, see, just a touch more, see about there, just to be safe. So far as this goes, I'm saying that'll sit there nicely. Now we just need a placement this way, and then we can mark it out. So you can see this, I'm just saying this, the sink outlet is just in alignment with this, just off from this strut or cabinet member. So this is good this way. I'm going to make a mark with some tape, then we'll turn it over and position it the other way, make another mark with the tape, and then see about getting that template on. Alright, I'm seeing that's fairly good placement there. I've got a lip here, pretty much an equal lip at the back. So again, a little bit of tape over there, and a little bit on the back. And this is just going to give a rough positioning for the template. Obviously the template's a lot thinner than this because we have the overhang, this lip. The template is a lot narrower, but we have a position for it. So just look at this template and the way it is configured. I'm seeing that these are the cutouts for the hinges. So this is the back of the thing, and once that's established, the rest of it should be okay. Now, I haven't got these marks here with the tape. I think what I'll do is I'll place that equal from each side of the tape. On this cut here, there's not much hangover on the sink, so we'll just place that about there, and then we want to peel this off and stick it on and cut it out. And again, we want to make sure this is good with our marks. Front mark is that. Yep. I'm just using the lines on the block to line that up at the front. A little bit tricky, but these things sometimes are. Okay, that is our template. I'm going to drill a few holes in here. These are quite tight corners, some of these, for the jigsaw, and it is thick wood. So, okay, that should do it. Now, I think I'll just start up this line with a jigsaw. Turn the thing around on the table to get the saw through, and we'll just nibble all that out. Okay, I'll start at this end and just keep on the line of the template. is. That's all cut out. May need a little bit more up there, we'll see. And the next thing to do is to offer this up. Dust it down. Clear the gullet. It's a little tight somewhere. It looks like it's going to go there. But we do have, there's a cutout on the front here, actually. A lip, sorry, a recess, which is not necessary. Now they did say that this template was for this hob, but this here is not necessary. In fact, it's stopping the gas pipe. So I'm going to quickly whip that off and then we'll try again. That's fairly close to the template and it's way off here at the back. Needs to be done some more. It's not a bad fit. I think we've got it. This is what it eventually looks like. Quite different to the template, I've got to say. The template had a thing here. The hinge things weren't recessed enough, and there was a little discrepancy here also, which had to come off. So, although they did say it was a template for the Smev 9222, I don't think it was. It was close, but not close enough, you know. No coconut. Sorry. Okay, so now we're going to offer it up in the van. Immediately I can see a couple of things. I think I need a little bit more cut out for the sink, and I might need a little bit of cut out here for the hob. We'll bring it in, offer it up, and find out what needs to happen. Okay, so maybe we set that in there. Oh, we're not too bad. We're not too bad. It's this cabinet here. The sink just needs a little bit more cut out. So I'll go and get a saw, cut that out. We'll see how that flies. As I say, maybe a little one for the gas here as well. We'll see. It's in. But a little bit of remedial work required. One of the gas jets happens to sit just on this upright, so we've had to cut a little bit out of that. We're going to have to take a little bit off the top of the drawer just to accommodate that. The drawer just hits it there. But that's okay, we don't have to lose a lot. It's maybe about a centimetre off there, and that will be a-okay. But this eventually is a good fit. As I see, a little bit of nibbling and a little bit of this and that. But that's good. Position's good. We're going to have a table out here for prepping. Got another little prep area here, washing up and stuff like that. This is all good. Now, I'll finish this off, I'll cut the drawer down, and then I'm going to take the worktop back out because it wants a couple more coats of lacquer. So we'll get all that lacquer up and sealed up, and when all that's dry and smoothed down, we will get the gas in and we'll get the water in. Now for the door handles, the cabinet handles, I have these. These are just little strips of leather, and I've put a hole in either end. The screw goes through, and then it'll screw through to the door. And these are mirror screws, is what they're called, and they have a little brass cap which screws into the head of the screw once the screw's in place, like so. And that will look like that. They're just going to be like finger pulls on the doors, but I think they'll be nice. They'll give it a nice bit of contrast, and we're going to get on with them. On these doors, again, we have one there, and we'll put that centrally and centrally there, and the same on the rest of the drawers. I'll just show you how I'm doing it. First of all, I want to get a centre point on here, which is 4.5, so like 2.25 centimetres, and if we go down 2.25, that's about a centre point there. So that'll sit there. That's good. Now we want a little pilot hole through it. Just want to make sure we're not hitting the catch at the back, which we're not, so we're okay. So just pilot hole that. These screws just fit, by the way. I thought they might have been a little bit long, but on the first one it looked good. If they are, I think, again, I was going to cut some of the ends off and fiddle about with them, but I think just a little bit of coarse sandpaper would take anything off which has come through, so I think we're good. So we've got that in there. And then this little brass thing. I'll probably get a pair of pliers with a bit of tape around the jaws to tighten these up a little bit further. But that's the idea out there. That'll open the door. It's all good. Ooh, might have just come through there. No, I think we're okay. I don't feel it. It's just pushed the paint a little, but it hasn't actually come through. So, that's good. Next one, the same. Okay, now these various worktops and things have had 3 coats of lacquer at this point. I'll show you the stuff I'm using. This is, again, not sponsored yet, unfortunately. This is Mann's bar top lacquer, type of stuff they use for bars. Very tough, very durable stuff. It's a matte finish, this one, because the rest of the van is sort of, there's no real gloss finish in there. And it's a beautiful finish, I gotta say. Nice and smooth. The only thing it would probably want at this point is another very light sanding with this 340 grit paper, but just to sand the lacquer itself, not to sand the wood. So a very light, just take any little things off there, although it does feel okay like that. But that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to give it a sand with this, and then we're going to look at getting it into the van, fixing it in permanently. Now, I think the van at this point is really starting to take shape, and it's looking somewhat transformed with the addition of the worktop and the handles and the top of the battery box. We'll just have a quick look at that. So our very next thing to do here is to fit the hob and sink, and I've got that in the workshop. So this was one of those kits. I ordered a kit, and what came was the Smev 9222, I think that's what it's called, and all of these components. Load of stuff came with it. This is all of the gas components, some clips and electrical components. We've got the freshwater feed hose. We've got the tap with a tail on it, some P-clips, the water pump, the wastewater thing, and the edging for this, and the fixing screws and a little plug. So there's quite a bit of stuff there to fit onto this, and I think it's probably going to be best to fit the tap and things before actually putting it into the van. It might be an idea to fit some of the gas components as well. Just maybe more difficult to get to underneath the worktop in them little cupboards. Yeah. So I think my first thing to fit here is going to be the tap, because that's going to be in a very awkward place under the fridge. So I'm going to take this out and see what's going on with it, and then we'll see about fitting it up. Now, I believe there's a specific way to fit the electrics for this as well. It's a switch tap, and it switches the pump on and off. So there is a specific wiring need for that. Right, so I was saying the tap is just going to come up from the inside here, and it's come with another sizable black rubber washer, which I'm assuming goes on the other side, possibly. 3 hands would be a great idea, but I'll struggle on with 2. And then we have this locking nut, which also goes over there. That's that. Now we're just going to put this in roughly for now, because we want to make sure that everything fits in the under the worktop. And if it does, we'll just whip it back out and tighten everything up. That looks to be okay there, I would say. Pretty good. So we'll just give that a hand tighten for now. Then we can close this back off, flip it over, and move on to the next component. This water pipe has a push fit. It'll probably be this. It must be this. This looks like it would push fit onto there. Yes, I think it will. And then this water pipe fit on the other side of it with a Jubilee clip. But as I say, it's the wiring of this, which is a strange one. I think what we have here is the switch is here. So we want the live feed, a permanent live coming into it. And the black, instead of being the earth, would be the switched live. So that would go to the live of the pump, and then the neutral would come from the blue of the pump to the fuse box. Okay, so just to have a look at this so far as the gas connection goes, a couple of things come with this. One is this through connector, micro bore, I think it's 8mm through connector, and the other one is this, which has the rubber tube on this end and connects to the copper pipe from this end. Now, if we can look underneath here, it's a little bit dark and it's a little bit tricky, but this is the gas inlet pipe, and the idea is we want to put that coupling on there, take the copper pipe this way, then down here put the other connector on this, so that that will then go through the top of the gas locker with a rubber pipe when the grommets arrive. So what we want to do is just measure all of that up before cutting the pipe and installing it or anything like that, and then we can take it back into the workshop, do these gas connections, and then I think the thing can be fitted at that point. The whole unit can be fitted, because we have here the wires. They're accessible for the tap, and the water thing is accessible here. So really, if we just get this piece of gas pipe on, I'm saying we're going to be pretty much accessible. Can I just say, when you're working with these gas pipes, if you're in any way not confident about it, get someone who is to help you or to do it for you. It is gas, it is explosive. You do have to be very careful with it. I've done some of this type of work myself in the past, so I'm fairly confident with it. But despite that, when the work is finished, the gas work on this, I will get it checked out by a gas engineer just to make absolutely sure that it's okay. So that said, back to the job at hand, which is getting this piece of pipe onto this outlet. Now this is what they call micro bore, and it's possible to bend it by hand, but you've got to be very careful with it. It's easy to kink it, and we certainly don't want to do that. That's going to fit in there, connect up there. This is going to come along the side of the drawer cabinet, and then that's going to go on the end of it, and we're going to clip all of this in place, and then put the rubber wire on here, the rubber hose on here for the gas bottle. And so the first thing really is this compression fitting, which came as part of the kit. Now, it has a, I don't know if you're familiar with these, but it has a thing called an olive, which will crush down when you tighten these two things together, and that'll create a seal. Now, belt and braces, or with anything of this nature, really, it's not a bad idea to use a little bit of jointing compound also. So, in practice, recommended to use a bit of jointing compound also. So we're going to put that on there, just a little bit, doesn't need a lot. But it does need to be continuous sort of seal. It's looking good. Now, as I say, just to make absolutely sure, I'm going to put some around these threads as well, just a little bit. Doesn't have to be a lot, but there we go. Now when all of that dries out and compresses together, that's going to make a good seal. And they just want to nip. Sufficient to sort of crush the olive inside, not crush it entirely, but deform it so that it becomes part of the seal. Done. It's the same thing to get it onto here. Alrighty, that's clipped in. I'll just see if I can get that in and show you. A couple of P-clips here just holding this pipe steady. That's all looking good. I think we'll put an aluminium base on here as well, just to stop anything from hitting the underside components of this once we get this finished. Just a sheet of aluminium right the way across. And then if we do put anything else in there, use it as a shelf, etc., it won't interfere with any of the workings of the hob. Okay, so we've got this tank in, and we've got that connected to here onto the wheel pump. That's going to go low down, touching the bottom of the tank, and then from that we want to just figure out where this hose is first. So I'll cut this hose and get it out of the way. Alright, so I've got this bit of wiring done. There it is. I'm going to just make sure all the connections are good. Now it's switched here on the panel, the water pump. So let's go over there and switch it on. And now if we switch the tap on, we should hear it whir. That's it. We don't want to whir it too much. It should have water in there before doing that. It's just to test it, make sure the wiring's good, and it would seem to be good. Alright, so that's about as far as we can get on with that. We've got the water pump in, we've got everything led to the gas locker. The next thing will be to put the gas locker in when the grommet comes to feed it through the rubber pipe. So our next thing is I'm going to take all this masking tape off here, clean this up. It'll probably need a little bit of meths or something to get that off. And then we can screw this in, and then we'll screw the worktop into the bench. And that should be our worktop in place. So there it is, the hob is in. Took a little bit of doing, but we got there in the end. Now the other components for the tambour door arrived also, the spiral things for the top of it. So in the very next episode I will be making the tambour door, and we'll get that final panel into the van, and pretty much that's all of the furnishings finished after that. I do believe the next thing would be to put the rock and roll bed in. But in the very next episode we'll be doing the tambour door, so if you want to see how that works out, do subscribe to the channel, give the video a thumbs up if you've enjoyed it. Thank you very much for watching, and we'll see you next time.